Alf, it's happening. It's happening. The sports card collectors / speculators / investors, they are moving over to Pokemon investing in quotation marks, probably more like speculating. But here we are. Stick around. What's going on, Collectibles friends? It is another day and we're back with another sealed Pokemon market talk video. Still trying to get the hang of all of the new content here on my second channel.
School's closed. It's a holiday, you dumbasses.
Collectibles Dad. And today we're going to talk about the fact that sports card collectors / speculators are moving into, or have already moved into sealed Pokemon. Now, I did have a comment yesterday from somebody that mentioned that not only is he buying into sealed Pokemon, but also buying kind of more of the high-end singles, the stuff that's maybe like 2,000 to 5,000, I think is what he put in the comment. I'll see if I can pull it up. And I think that's interesting. I don't know anything about the Pokemon singles market. I do pay attention to, when I'm looking into sets, I'll look up kind of like, what are the most expensive cards within XYZ, not XY necessarily, but just anyway, XYZ, ABC set, so I can get a feel for what are kind of the big hits out of this particular product, and do the prices add up? Does it even matter? And that's one thing that I want to talk about here today. Some big differences between the sports card market and the Pokemon card market. I do think that while there is probably more sports card collectors now than there ever has been since going back to maybe 1990, where it seemed like every kid in school was collecting sports cards, it feels like the Pokemon card collecting community is more of a collecting community, and it's less centered around the gambling side of the hobby. Now, Pokemon cards, you've heard of this, they have rip and ships. Rip and ships are more like a personal break, where your favorite YouTuber is opening the box you bought and then shipping off the cards to you. So it's not as if, you're buying into the Charizard slot, for that particular box. Now, I do know that there is kind of traditional, what we would call, I guess, like the sports card style breaking in Pokemon. And actually, I did see a troubling video, frankly, where somebody was doing that on the high end, where people are kind of doing basically like razzes. It was kind of wild. So anyway, I know that people are doing kind of the high-end breaking, gambling stuff for Pokemon, but it's just far and few between in comparison to the sports card market. Now, this isn't necessarily inherently bad. I think that these are two different markets completely when it comes to sports cards and Pokemon. You've got players that are actively playing, and so there's a sports betting element that plays into sports card breaks and just chasing certain cards and then holding, speculating. Are they going to have a good season? Are they going to, go to the Super Bowl? Are they going to go to the NBA Finals or whatever? So there's a heavy speculation that plays into a player's career that you don't exactly have that on the Pokemon side of things. But while that can be fun on the sports card side, we've seen over and over again, it's highly risky with modern players, not even just with currently active players, but also rookies or early career folks. They might come out and be amazing. They might come out and be horrible, or they might have a great rookie season and then they might fall off the map. For Pokemon, it boggles the mind. It's really mainly the same characters. It's just different artwork, different style of cards that come out, different sets, and people go absolutely bananas for these Pokemon cards globally. And the most shocking part is it's not reliant on serial numbered cards. That's a whole other bag of tricks that if the Pokemon company ever needed to pull that lever, they could, and it would be insane. It would be insanity, but they don't even need to do that. They don't need to, which makes me wonder, do we even need to do that on the sports card side as much as we do? I don't know, question mark. Maybe not. I don't really know. But the Pokemon card market is not reliant on bounties. It's not reliant on these, one-of-one serial numbered cards. There are rare cards that are mixed in that have extra value, of course, over others. But Pokemon sells out without having to have any major push in the marketing on, pulls and hits and that sort of a thing. Yes, they do have hits. It's just not even in the same world, though, as what we see on the sports card side. Now let's talk about sealed product in particular. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because new sports card product, I can't say that the new product, if you bought it and you held it, maybe over time it performs well. I don't really know. There's so much breaking, there's so much opening of the product. It really depends on the product too. It depends very specifically on the product and the print runs, because some of them, of course, have dramatically higher print runs than others. There's price points that are different. I'm sure there is opportunity to buy into sealed sports cards and then hold them over the long term. And maybe it does completely fine. There's just so many variables. CT scanning is something that has been talked about a lot recently in the sports card hobby, as well as in the Pokemon hobby. But there's differences between what CT scanning would be, I think, used for, or more appropriately, if you're looking at it from a speculation side. CT scanning on the sports card side, why is that a threat? Well, if a company or somebody has a CT scanner and they're able to see inside of a sports card box that this particular box has a 1-of-1 card or doesn't have a 1-of-1 card or has a gold prism or doesn't have a gold prism, then they could very easily take this box. Oh, this has got a great card in it. Open it. This box does not. Okay, get that on eBay, sell it off. Whereas on the Pokemon side, I suppose you could do that, but most of the new Pokemon product is on the lower end in compared to sports cards. Most of it comes out on pre-order. It's $80, $90, $100. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pokemon folks, but is there a Pokemon product that comes out every year that's at $400, $500, $1,000 for a booster box when it comes out? Maybe that's coming. I don't know, but from what I've seen, it seems like they have a pretty consistent price point, and then you kind of pick and choose which sets you like. Some of them go up more than others. Some of them drop down because there's a reprint, but it seems to me it's a fairly consistent price point. For sports cards, it's all over the place. You do have hobby boxes that come out that, yeah, might be $100 when it comes out. They've printed more of them. There's less hits inside of them. And then there's also boxes that come out that are a couple $1,000s that might have more value, might not have more value. But the point is there's more of an incentive on the sports card side to CT scan a box, figure out which boxes are the good boxes, sell the ones that are not good boxes, and move on. Whereas with Pokemon, I just want to know what's inside of it is actually Pokemon cards. For the ultra modern side, it's not really an issue. This is more of an issue on the vintage stuff. We don't want to be Logan Paul opening up first edition and getting G.I. Joe cards. That would be my concern, opening up 20-year-old booster boxes of Pokemon EX or whatever it is. I want to know that that's actually legit inside, because the fraudsters and the scammers, they've gotten good at being able to pass along reseal boxes. I would not underestimate scammers. We see it on the sports card side, and it's there on the Pokemon side as well. You can get got, and so I'm not going to spend $10,000 on a vintage Pokemon box unless, ironically, it has been CT scanned, and I know what's inside is actually this stuff. They've given me some sort of authentication. I'm not necessarily trusting kind of the third-party people that look at the box and say, like, you know what? This looks good. No. I want a CT scan of that thing. I want to see a fossil card inside of it. I want to see that the packs are in the order that they should be. And if something looks a little bit out of place, I'm not buying it. And so I'm a collectibles collector / speculator of all sorts of things. When we talk about sports cards, non-sports entertainment cards, talking about action figures, graded comic books, I've got a whole slew of different things, 80s, 90s nostalgia that I love. And while Pokemon is not necessarily part of my nostalgia bucket, you have to have respect for this brand overall. A trading card company that's done a really nice job of balancing out the supply, the demand, and you have to kind of be drawn towards a community that is chock full of collectors, tons and tons of collectors. And yes, you do have speculators. You do have the sealed holders. You know, you have the sealed hoarders, if you will. And now I'm joining kind of the crew of sealed hoarders. I'm building, it's building blocks, one brick at a time. But my plan is to add, pieces to this over time and see how it does. By no means am I replacing all of my sports cards and all my other stuff with Pokemon, but I just wanted to get in and get some exposure to this part of the collectibles world. And let me know your thoughts, friends. Are you a sports card person, or maybe you're a comic book person, or maybe you're an action figure collector and you're like, you know what? I kind of like this sealed Pokemon game. I like what I'm seeing here. I'm going to throw a few dollars at it. I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, my friends. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.